Ladies and gentlemen, to present the Peter Rule Award for Most Outstanding Columnist, please welcome Miss Jennifer Hewitt and Mercedes Rule.
Hi, Mercedes and I are absolutely delighted to be here to make the award for the most outstanding columnist in the name of our beloved husband and father, Peter Rule. Pete never took anything too seriously, including, I often found to my horror, me. But he always, you know, what he did take seriously all the time. I mean, he would have made a lot of jokes, I know, about getting an award in his name, but he always took very seriously the craft of journalism, and in particular, writing a column that he absolutely loved. And so I'm delighted, as Mercedes and I are very proud to do this award in his name for the outstanding columnist. And the nominees are Paul Daly from The Guardian, Tim Burrows from Umbrella, and Van Badham from The Guardian. And the winner is Paul Daly from The Guardian.
Paul Daly's controversial and powerful columns on post-colonial Australia focus on the celebration of the Anzac legend with all its related stories of endurance and mateship versus the profound human impact of war on Australians of all creeds and colours, including those who returned devastated and damaged, and those left behind on the battlefield.
So obviously I'm not Paul. I'm one of his editors. So he asked me to read that. I'm honoured to win this award, especially given the fantastic competition among columnists in Australia. I'm especially delighted to win this award on behalf of Guardian Australia, given that the intent behind so many of my columns for Guardian Australia has been to provoke contemplation about who we are as a nation and what myth and legends we tie ourselves to, not least Anzac, and how we celebrate who we are. It's an easy, discomforting subject matter that The Guardian has, as a new player in Australian media, warmly embraced and prompted. I've argued that we need to bring acknowledgement and awareness to the whole truth, with its darkness and light, about this continent from the dreamtime to the present, into the cultural mainstream. Thank you very much.
To present the Kennedy Award for Outstanding Finance Reporting, please welcome the New South Wales Treasurer, the Honourable Andrew Constance, and representing our sponsors for this award, the CEO of the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Mr. Mark Scott.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be awarding the Finance Award. There's no doubt that, unfortunately, sometimes corporate Australia misbehaves, and ultimately to shine a light on questionable business practices is important, because typically someone in the community ultimately gets hurt by them. And obviously these award and nominees have done an amazing job this year in terms of highlighting some of those failures on the part of business. The nominees for the awards: Mario Christodoulou, Adele Ferguson and Deb Masters from Four Corners. Nabila Ahmed, Sue Mitchell and James Chesil from the Australian Financial Review. And Mario Christodoulou, Janine Cohen and Linton Besser from Four Corners. And the winners are Mario Christodoulou, Adele Ferguson and Deb Masters for Four Corners.
There was no catching Adele Ferguson with her exclusive series of thoroughly researched reports on the scandal of the Commonwealth Bank's financial planners.
From the moment Noel Stevens lodged a claim, the bank ruthlessly investigated him.
Adele's year-long campaign led to a damning Senate inquiry report that finally forced the CBA's chiefs to publicly apologise and reassess the financial plans of 400,000 customers.
Thank you very much for this. This award really symbolises and says thank you to the victims. We gave them a voice through Fairfax and through the ABC's Four Corners. And I'd really like to thank Jeff Morris, the whistleblower, who, really brought this to life, and to Marilyn Swan and Jan Braund and all those other people who were brave and courageous and came forward. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year we introduce the new award for outstanding coverage of consumer affairs. Please welcome veteran current affairs reporter Ms. Helen Wellings and Mr. Lachlan Harris, CEO of our sponsor, One Big Switch.
Good evening. Yes, it is veteran, I'm afraid. I'd just like to say what a terrific job Adam Walters is doing. I mean, I know people have said it before. I want to say it because I know how hard he's worked. But Consumer Affairs Awards, if not for the media, it would be virtually impossible for consumers to be alerted and informed about rorts, product evaluations, dangerous items, and product recalls. We save lives, almost lose our own in the process, protect people's finances, warn them about marketplace tsunamis, steer them in the right direction on best and worst buys. It's not about dodgy toasters. Consumer affairs encompasses virtually all things households spend their money on, including superannuation, including banking. At last, this is being recognised with a whopping big Kennedy Award for Best Consumer Affairs Story. And the nominees are...
Thanks, Helen. Sarah White and Ben Doherty from Fairfax Media. Mario Christodoulou, Janine Cohen and Linton Besser from Four Corners ABC. And Quinton McDermott and Peter Crenau from Four Corners ABC. And now one of the great legends of consumer journalism, Helen, to announce the winner.
Lucky One Big Switch. And the winners are Mario Christodoulou, Janine Cohen and Linton Besser, Four Corners ABC.
The lender of last resort clinically exposes the shady world of a major debt merchant who ruthlessly upends the lives of his clients, many of them high-profile Australians.
He has no morals. There is no credibility.
While finessing draconian debt structuring contracts and using the courts to pursue and haunt the vulnerable.
First of all, I have to thank Linton Besser and Janine Cohen, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, for being just fantastic colleagues and fantastic journalists. Our ever-supportive EP, Sue Spencer, and also just the entire Four Corners team. It's an absolute pleasure and a privilege to work there every day. And I have to say thank you to my beautiful wife, Kilmany, for putting up with the late night phone calls, the stolen weekends, and my 7-month-old Isley, I sort of do it all for her. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sydney Morning Herald Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Darren Goodson, to present the Kennedy Award for Outstanding Online News Breaking, sponsored by the Sydney Morning Herald.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's an honour for the Sydney Morning Herald to be sponsors of this award. I'd also like to acknowledge and note the members of the Kennedy family, who I was lucky enough to bump into on the way in. Les loved the online medium. It meant that he could write whatever he liked, however long he liked, because there was never a print news hole big enough to fill the things that he needed and wanted to say. It won't be the last time that we support the Online Breaking News Award, and we're privileged to be a part of the Kennedy Awards. The nominees tonight are Oliver Lachlan, The Guardian, the magnificent duo Kate McClymont and Michaela Whitbourne from the Sydney Morning Herald, and my old mate Andrew Clennell from the Daily Telegraph. And the winner is, drum roll please, Oliver Lachlan, The Guardian.
Oliver Luffland beat a stellar field with his impressive, authoritative and up-to-date reporting on the Manus Island riots. Despite difficult circumstances and authorities who refused to cooperate, he constructed a powerful interactive timeline to expose the truth of a tragic event.
With your useless degrees and your contrary statistics.
Thanks very much. As an online journalist, I've emailed myself the acceptance speech. Just want to say thank you to Emily Wilson, to Catherine Viner and Lee Glendenning for being the wonderful, supportive editors you need when you cover an area like asylum and immigration in Australia. They've devoted many hours to my late filing, to last-minute changes, and to a minister who has sought to undermine the work that we do in this area on many, many occasions. But I want to thank most of all the courageous sources who work in immigration detention, who give me information on a day-to-day basis, and make sure that The Guardian's coverage on this issue is so thorough and accurate. As doctors working in the immigration detention system are told on a daily basis, it's more than likely there'll be a royal commission into Australia's mistreatment of asylum seekers, and I feel hugely privileged to be one of the reporters who's working to shine a light on this issue. Thank you very much.